Most people own a bottle of Japanese rice vinegar for exactly one purpose. Sushi night comes around, they use 2 tablespoons, they put it back, and it sits in the pantry until next time. That is one of the most underestimated mistakes in any kitchen. Not because the bottle costs much, barely €2 for a full 250 milliliter bottle of good Japanese komezu, but because of everything they are walking past every single time they do it. My grandmother Yuki spent decades in a Japanese home kitchen. She was warm, practical, and deeply unhurried in the way she cooked, and she knew exactly what that bottle was capable of when applied with intention. 31 uses to be exact: kitchen problems, health habits, household repairs. I'm going to give you every single one, counting down from 31 to number 1. Stay all the way to number 3. That one is something most people with Japanese kitchen knives have completely forgotten. Let us start. Number 31, the fluffy rice secret. Before the heat goes on, add 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar to every 2 cups of cooking water. Japanese home cooks have done this for generations. The main acid in rice vinegar interferes with starch gelatinization, which is what causes cooked grains to bond into a sticky, clumped mass. By slowing that process, the grains stay separate all the way through. No gumminess, no clumping. Perfect. Light rice from a plain pot every single time. Number 30, the Sushi Master's Foundation. Dissolve 4 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Then fold that mixture into 1½ cups of freshly cooked hot rice while fanning it to cool. The technique traces back to the Edo period in Japan. The acidity halts the rice from overcooking in its own steam, while the glutamic acid produced during fermentation of rice proteins adds a savory depth that no other common vinegar carries. This ratio is the living foundation of Japanese rice cooking. Number 29, the fish smell eraser. After cooking fish, pour 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar onto the pan or board, let it sit for 60 seconds, then wipe clean. Fish gets its odor from trimethylamine, a volatile amine compound released from fish proteins during cooking. The acidity neutralizes it on contact, breaking the compound down rather than masking it. Japanese kitchens cook fish most days, and the cutting surface needs to be ready for the next preparation without any trace of what came before it. Number 28, the poached EGG perfector. Before cracking a single egg, add 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar to your simmering pot. The mild acidity begins denaturing the egg white proteins the moment they contact the water, tightening them quickly and neatly around the yolk rather than letting them spread in wispy tendrils across the pan. Rice vinegar is the right choice here because it does not tint the whites or add any competing flavor. Japanese home cooks have applied this principle in delicate preparations for a long time. Number 27, the weekly pickle jar. This one is personal. My grandmother Yuki made a fresh jar every Sunday without fail, and nothing else in her kitchen was as reliably present. Slice cucumber, daikon, or carrot thin, then submerge them in a brine of 3 tablespoons rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon sugar, and 1 teaspoon salt. Ready in 30 minutes and best after a night in the refrigerator. Osmosis draws water from the vegetables and locks in crunch, while the acidity prevents spoilage bacteria from taking hold. Crispy, bright, and always on the table. Number 26, the meat whisperer. Tougher cuts do not need expensive marinades. Add 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar per cup of marinade liquid and leave the meat for 30 to 60 minutes before cooking, then rinse and pat dry. The acetic acid partially hydrolyzes the collagen in connective tissue, relaxing tough fibers just enough to improve the texture without breaking the meat down entirely. An old technique in Japanese simmered dishes applied to any cut you want to improve before it reaches the pan. Number 25, the purple vegetable keeper. Red cabbage without any acid in the pot often turns a dull, muddy blue by the time it is done. Add 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar early in cooking. The compounds that give red and purple vegetables their pigment are called anthocyanins, and they are sensitive to pH. In an acidic environment, they stay vivid and bright red. In an alkaline one, they shift toward blue-gray. This applies equally to red onion and purple kale. 1 teaspoon keeps the color you started with. Number 24, the sauce depth trick. Stir 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar into any soup, stew, or sauce that tastes flat, off heat just before serving. The reason it works where salt alone does not is the glutamic acid from fermentation. It both lifts the brightness of the dish and deepens its savory foundation simultaneously. No other common vinegar does both at once. This is why Japanese home cooking achieves consistent balance without many ingredients on the counter. 1 teaspoon, off heat before the bowl hits the table. Number 23, the forever green guacamole. Stir 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar into finished guacamole before sealing, or brush a thin layer over a cut avocado before wrapping. The browning comes from polyphenol oxidase, an enzyme in avocado flesh that activates on contact with oxygen. Lowering the pH inhibits the enzyme's activity, the same principle that keeps Japanese pickled vegetables vivid through days in the refrigerator. Applied here to a different ingredient with the same result. Hours longer, no change in flavor. Number 22, the shell loosener. Add 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar to your boiling water before the eggs go in, cook as usual, then move them straight to an ice bath. Eggshells are composed of calcium carbonate, and the acetic acid partially dissolves it during cooking, micro-thinning the shell and weakening the bond between shell and membrane. Juan Silva, a professor of food science at Mississippi State University, confirms this directly. Vinegar dissolves some of the calcium carbonate in the shell and makes it significantly easier to remove. Number 21, the produce wash. Mix 1 part rice vinegar with 3 parts cold water, submerge your fruit and vegetables for 5 to 10 minutes, then rinse. The University of Maine Cooperative Extension recommends a vinegar soak for leafy greens to reduce surface bacteria. The active acid also loosens pesticide residue more effectively than a plain water rinse. Japanese food culture has long placed careful attention on how produce is handled before it reaches the table. Number 20, the silent fridge freshener. Place a small open bowl with 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar at the back of your refrigerator and replace it once a week. Unlike baking soda, which absorbs odors, the volatile acidity here actively neutralizes the alkaline odor compounds, particularly ammonia and sulfur-based molecules that accumulate from stored food. In Japanese kitchens, where the cold storage of fish, fermented ingredients, and fresh produce means constant demands on the refrigerator, this is a standard piece of maintenance. Number 19, the cream lift trick. Before whipping heavy cream, add 3 or 4 drops of rice vinegar, barely a 1/4 teaspoon, to 1 cup of cold cream and whip it immediately. The mild acidity slightly restructures the cream proteins and accelerates stabilization of the fat globule network, so the cream reaches stiff peaks faster and holds them longer. This technique is associated with the Uchibori family, one of Japan's most respected artisan vinegar producers. The tang disappears into the finished cream. The structure does not. Number 18, the sticky noodle fix. Drain freshly cooked noodles and toss them with 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar while still hot, distributing it evenly before they cool. The acidity disrupts starch-to-starch surface adhesion, preventing individual strands from bonding as the temperature drops. The same starch interference as the fluffy rice trick applied to a different problem. Japanese cooks use this for udon, soba, and ramen whenever they need to prepare ahead without the strands clumping into an unusable block. Number 17, the cutting board reset. Pour a thin coat of undiluted rice vinegar across your cutting board after heavy use. Let it sit for 5 minutes, rinse cold, and air dry. The University of Maine Cooperative Extension validates this approach for surface sanitation of cutting equipment. The active acid disrupts bacterial cell membrane integrity, working against the microbes that settle into the grain of a wooden or plastic board after raw protein has been cut on it. Those first 15 items have all lived in the kitchen. Stay with me now, because the next stretch is where rice vinegar surprises most people, especially number 12, which Yuki's own family was always asking about. Number 16, the traditional vinegar tonic. Mix 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar with 1 teaspoon of honey into a full glass of cool water and drink it once daily before a meal. The practice, known in Japan as su-dorinku, has deep roots in Japanese health culture, and today there are vinegar bars and cafes built entirely around it. A 2019 narrative review in Clinical Nutrition, ESPN, analyzing studies from 1995 to 2018, found consistent support for vinegar's positive acute effects on blood glucose and metabolic function, a daily habit with a long tradition behind it. Number 15, the pre-meal blood sugar shield. Mix 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar into a glass of water and drink it with the first bites of a carbohydrate-heavy meal, always diluted, and consult a doctor if managing diabetes. The mechanism is specific. Acetic acid inhibits alpha amylase and alpha glucosidase, the enzymes in the small intestine that break starch into glucose. When those enzymes are slowed, the rate at which glucose enters the bloodstream drops. And the same 2019 Clinical Nutrition ESPN review found this effect consistent across the clinical literature analyzed. Number 14, the bone-building table trick. After cooking, drizzle 1 to 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar over calcium-rich foods at the table: sardines, firm tofu, cooked leafy greens. Research reviews on acetic acid and blood pressure have documented the effect. The acid increases calcium solubility in the digestive environment, making more of it available for absorption. Japanese cuisine places calcium-rich ingredients at the center of daily eating, and vinegar-dressed preparations may be doing more nutritional work than most people realize. Number 13, the summer slump fixer. After physical exertion and heat, mix 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar with 1 tablespoon of sugar in a glass of cold water and drink it within 30 minutes. Research by Nakao and colleagues, cited in the 2019 Clinical Nutrition ESPN review, found that acetic acid combined with glucose after exhaustive exercise produced measurably higher liver glycogen stores within 2 hours than either alone. The sweet and sour pairing that runs through Japanese summer food has real physiological logic behind it. Number 12, the scalp reset. Yuki's hair was always the first thing people noticed, and whenever anyone asked, she pointed to this. After your regular shampoo, mix 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar into 1 cup of water, pour it through your hair, massage gently into the scalp, and leave for 1 to 2 minutes before rinsing. Once a week at most. Skip it if your scalp is irritated. Rice vinegar sits at approximately pH 4 to 4.5, closely matching the scalp's natural range of 4.5 to 5.5. Restoring that acidic environment seals the hair cuticle and discourages dandruff-causing fungi. Number 11, the 2-ingredient skin toner. Yuki kept a small labeled bottle of this beside her bathroom mirror for as long as anyone in the family could remember. Mix 1 part rice vinegar with 6 parts water, apply to cleansed skin with a cotton ball, let it dry, and follow immediately with moisturizer. Patch test first, avoid the eye area, use every other day at most, skip on sensitive or broken skin. Healthy skin has a protective acid mantle at roughly pH 4.5 to 5.5. This diluted solution restores and maintains it. Number 10, the sunburn soother. Mix 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar into 1 cup of cool water, soak a soft cloth, and apply as a compress for 10 minutes. Always heavily diluted, never on blistered or broken skin, and stop immediately if discomfort increases. Traditional Japanese households have reached for diluted vinegar preparations for skin irritation for generations. A sunburned surface can shift toward alkalinity, and this mild compress may help bring the skin's environment back toward its natural balance, reducing the heat sensation along with it. Number 9, the foot soak. Add 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar to a basin of comfortably warm water and soak for 15 to 20 minutes, then rinse and dry completely. The bacteria and fungi responsible for foot odor thrive in the slightly alkaline, moist conditions that develop after activity. An acidic soak disrupts those conditions entirely. Japanese bath and wellness culture has incorporated vinegar preparations into foot care for a long time, and this is one of the most practical expressions of that tradition. Number 8, the after-dinner ease. 15 to 20 minutes after a heavy meal, stir 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar into a small glass of water and drink it slowly. Always dilute it. Japanese dietary tradition holds that a small amount of vinegar after eating supports digestion, consistent with research suggesting the active acid slows gastric emptying and may mildly encourage digestive enzyme activity. The Japanese have a word, iryoku, for the quiet vitality that comes from fermented foods in daily life. This is one small practical expression of it. Those last 8 were all about the body. The final 7 items are where rice vinegar does things most people never expect, especially number 3, which is something Granny Yuki knew and most households have completely forgotten. Number 7, the zero chemical fabric softener. Add half a cup of rice vinegar to your washing machine's fabric softener dispenser or directly into the rinse cycle. Keep it separate from the detergent cycle, since the two work against each other. The mild acidity neutralizes the alkaline detergent residue that remains in fabric fibers after washing, which is the primary cause of post-wash stiffness. It also reduces the static charge in synthetic fabrics. Everything comes out softer, less clingy, and without the heavy fragrance of commercial softeners. Number 6, the kettle rescue. Fill your kettle with equal parts water and rice vinegar, heat to just under boiling, let it soak for 20 to 30 minutes, then empty and rinse twice. What you are removing is lime scale, the white calcium carbonate buildup from hard water that coats heating elements over time. It dissolves through a direct acid-base reaction between the vinegar and the carbonate. The same process works on coffee makers and any small appliance that regularly heats water. Number 5, the wood ring eraser. Mix equal parts rice vinegar and olive oil and rub the mixture into water rings on wooden furniture in the direction of the grain. Buff clean when the wood is dry. A water ring is a calcium carbonate mineral deposit from evaporated water, and the acidity dissolves it cleanly. The olive oil simultaneously conditions the wood and restores its natural sheen. 2 ingredients, 1 specific problem solved precisely, which is exactly the kind of thinking Japanese household care has always applied. Number 4, the crystal clear glass secret. Soak cloudy or spotted glassware in 1 part, rice vinegar to 2 parts water for 10 to 15 minutes, wipe with a soft cloth, and rinse. The cloudiness and water spots are hard water mineral deposits, predominantly calcium carbonate, and they dissolve in the presence of acetic acid. Rice vinegar is gentler on fine crystal than ordinary white vinegar because of its lower acidity, removing the deposits without any risk of etching the surface. Now for the final 3. These are the ultimate staples. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember these. Number 3, the carbon steel save. If you have a carbon steel kitchen knife and it has developed surface rust, here is exactly what Yuki used to keep her knives working for decades. Pour rice vinegar into a container deep enough to cover the blade. Submerge the blade only, not the wooden handle, for exactly 5 minutes. Not longer, because timing is critical. Remove it, scrub gently with a soft cloth, rinse thoroughly, and dry completely and immediately. The acetic acid reacts with iron oxide, the compound that constitutes rust, converting it to soluble iron acetate that wipes away. 5 minutes undoes what years of humidity built. Yuki's knives were the most prized objects in her kitchen. She kept them bright because this repair was never more than 5 minutes away. Number 2, the instant crème fraîche. Stir 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar into 1 cup of heavy cream, then let the mixture stand uncovered at room temperature for 20 to 30 minutes. It will thicken into a spoonable, gently tangy consistency almost identical to crème fraîche. Refrigerate after it sets and it keeps for up to 5 days. Mild acid partially coagulates the casein in cream, thickening it the way fermentation would, only in 30 minutes rather than overnight. The softness of rice vinegar's acidity gives the finished cream a balanced, refined flavor. Spoon it over rice bowls, noodles, or sliced fruit. It does not taste like a shortcut. Number 1, the gari secret. A jar of Yuki's homemade pickled ginger lived in her refrigerator at all times. She made a fresh one every 2 weeks, and she said this was the one thing that used the whole bottle. Start with the rice, end with the ginger. Here is her method. Slice young fresh ginger as thin as a vegetable peeler can get it. Toss with 1 teaspoon of salt, let stand 10 minutes, then rinse and pack tightly into a clean jar. Warm 4 tablespoons of rice vinegar with 2 tablespoons of sugar and a pinch of salt until dissolved. Cool to room temperature, then pour over the ginger. Seal and refrigerate for at least 2 hours. Keeps 1 month. The acidic acid preserves antimicrobially, while osmosis draws excess moisture from the ginger as the brine permeates inward. But what made Yuki regard this as the most important use of the bottle is the combination. The gingerol compounds in fresh ginger activate digestive enzymes, and the vinegar brine preserves and delivers them intact. Every piece alongside a meal cleanses the palate and supports the digestion of what came before it. 10 minutes to make, 1 month in the jar. The place where everything this bottle can do meets in one simple preparation. €2. 31 uses from the lightest rice you have ever cooked to a knife rescued from rust to a jar. Yuki kept going her entire life. This is the kind of knowledge that does not announce itself. It lives in the habit of a kitchen, passed down through the understanding that one fermented ingredient with its acetic acid and its glutamic acid and its quiet usefulness can replace a shelf full of products if you know what it is actually doing. If one item from this list is worth passing on, share this with someone who would put it to use. Drop your favorite in the comments. And if you want more of what Yuki knew, subscribe. Every trick she had fits in a bottle that costs €2.